John, I'd like to talk to you about sustainable claims. Many people have invested in sustainable funds, thinking they were making environmentally sound decisions, and are now feeling a bit misled. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously this sustainable funds space is quite new in general, and a lot of these people have realised they want to make sustainable investments, and a lot of the funds that have had sustainable labels, it now transpires, weren't really sustainable. They were just existing funds that were rebadged. Certain things were shuffled around to make them appear to meet sustainable criteria, and that process has been called greenwashing. Now, those funds that have done that are now in a situation where they aren't able to meet the criteria and they're having to remove those labels. So I think people are quite rightly upset because they've probably accepted lower returns, they've probably accepted higher fees, and in reality, what they were sold wasn't a sustainable fund. And therefore they're feeling quite rightly misled because the fund's been misrepresenting themselves.
So what do I do about it if I'm in that position?
Well, I mean, it's establishing fault. We don't really think this is the responsibility of the financial advisors. We think it's down to the actual funds themselves who have gone out there and misrepresented their product as a sustainable product. We're seeing a couple of people that have jumped at the chance to get the review done for their sustainability because they know they've worked hard to meet that criteria. A couple of examples of that would be Lion Trust and Royal London both have truly sustainable funds that they've worked really, really hard to make sure meet that criteria. We've seen other people like Vanguard and Legal & General who've turned around and said, actually, we're pulling out of that. We don't want to be involved because they know they're not going to meet that criteria. So I think the main thing is to first of all have a look at what you're invested in. Have they been able to keep the badges? And if they've not, then it probably warrants investigation.
Do I have to do all of that research myself?
No, absolutely not. You can if you want to, but as regulated solicitors, you can sign a letter of authority for us to go and do that investigation for you. There's two key things we're going to be looking at. Number one is we think that if someone is not sustainable, they've not met the sustainable criteria, then as a bare minimum, they should be refunding the fees they've charged you for that period, because you would not have invested in it if it wasn't sustainable. And the second part of that is if you have actually suffered lower returns as a result of either higher fees or just poorer performance, if that's happened, then we believe that they have a responsibility to put you back in the position that you would have been in had you never invested in their funds. And that's a calculation that we do. We have expert witnesses who we can go to get those calculations done and make sure you get the compensation you deserve.
Are you expecting this to be a big part of your claims in the future?
I think it's a big market. I think it will be something that's going to be around for a few years while people, identify what's gone on and how it's gone on. I think it's not going to be a simple overnight claim. It's going to involve taking multiple people to the same party, possibly a group action. What we're doing at the moment is just encouraging everybody who's been affected to come forwards, and we're also contacting financial advisors directly and saying, look, if you feel that your clients have been misled here, why don't you introduce them to us directly and let us take care of it for you so we can try and get them what they deserve.
So if somebody wants to use HD Legal to help them with these claims, what should they do?
It's straightforward. Pick up the phone or make an inquiry online. We have a team of experts here who can speak to them, explain what's going on, and just get them into that first stage of the process, which is allowing us to go and do the research we need to do. Generally speaking, we will have all the information we need within 30 to 60 days, at which point you can then make an informed decision about whether or not to pursue the claim.
That sounds great. Thanks, John.